Gervonta Davis will be a Hall of Famer with or without Shakur Stevenson, says Bernard Hopkins. What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Cardinal Red Sports. Let's talk about it. All right, so Bernard Hopkins was recently interviewed, and he was asked about Gervonta Davis potentially retiring from the sport of boxing. And he has some pretty interesting things to say about Tank and him possibly retiring from the sport. I just want to get my 5,000 nickels for anybody. Leo.
Tank did what most of the greats did in their time, accomplish the highest goal that you can accomplish, and also one ballot, as far as I'm concerned, Hall of Famer. So based on that, in his time, as far as his era, where it was loaded with fighters or fights and fighters that could have fought each other and they didn't. Every era has that same situation. I don't think that ever going to go away or ever would be something dismissed from eras of conversation. Hey, he's young still. Might change his mind. Who knows? If he's going to do 1 or 2 or 3 fights, then let's respect that and let's hope that that's the fights that we want to see.
All right, so Gervonta Davis, Shakur Stevenson, Hall of Fame, Bernard Hopkins, what's really going on?
What if I throw these up in your face, huh?
So Bernard Hopkins was interviewed recently, and he was asked about the Gervonta Davis, Shakur Stevenson situation and Gervonta Davis possibly retiring from the sport. And he gave a pretty interesting take on if Tank does retire without fighting Shakur or Devin or Teofimo or some of these other names, how will his legacy actually be perceived?
I'm sitting here thinking, who in the world would slow roast a dog's asshole?
That's an interesting question, because I think if, let's say Tank does do 2 more fights after the Lamont Roach fight, and let's say they're all fighters along the line of Lamont Roach. Let's say he fights another fighter along the lines of Lamont Roach, and he ends up fighting Lomachenko for his final fight and beating Lomachenko.
You must have got manure for your brain.
Would you say that he had a successful career, or would you say that he dodged the best fights, even though he still fought Lomachenko and beat him, because he didn't want to deal with, Shakur Stevens or Keyshawn Davis or Teofimo or Devin Haney?
Never let your emotions supersede your intelligence.
In a lot of people's mind, I think Tank is just a knockout artist, and he, these other guys who have quote unquote boxing skills are going to expose him, because all he can do is punch really hard, and when they get into the ring and start using boxing traps, to set him up, they're going to expose him pretty quickly.
So you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
You know what? When I look at Tank, I look at a guy who built his career off knockouts, and I think that was very smart. I look at his career as a guy who was very strategic with his fights. I look at his career as a guy who exposed, some other fighters, Ryan Garcia, some other fighters, Mario Barrios, Leo Santa Cruz, guys who were bigger, stronger, should have beaten them.
Nigga, please.
And he kind of exposed them for what they were. So at the end of the day, people can say what they want to say, and they can feel how they want to feel about fighters with quote-unquote boxing skills versus knockout guys. Gervonta Davis, once again, did it his way. He did it the way he wanted to do it. And if he decides to retire, I think he's going to go out on top.
I don't understand why you hate on me, nigga.
We don't understand.
Show love, nigga.
The difference between Gervonta and these other guys is he found a way to sell himself. And these other guys haven't found a way to sell themselves yet as fighters. They're only good fighters. They're not salesmen yet. And perhaps they'll get it, perhaps they won't. The thing about, Gervonta and that you could compare to like a guy like Mayweather is that they did it the way they wanted to do it.
You ain't down with that? Shut your goddamn ass up.
The thing I hated about Mayweather was that he wasn't exciting. He didn't have those moments during his fights that made you go, wow, this guy did some incredible stuff, whether that was a comeback or whether that was a knockout that came out of nowhere. He did it a little bit early on, But during the majority of his career, he was just a defensive fighter.
I don't fucking like you.
And that gets boring really fast. When it comes to Gervonta, he did it the other way. He went with the knockouts, but a lot of people say his competition was low, so to them it's boring and it's easy. So, you know, you can only do it your way. Manny Pacquiao did it with exciting fights, legendary fights. He wanted to be a legendary fighter.
Pain.
And that's what put him over. You know, it depends on how you want to be perceived by your fan base. And I think that guys like Shakur and Devin and all these other guys, they watched the Mayweather effect and they figured that their talent would just carry them over. And it's a different day in boxing. Nowadays in boxing, you have to have either a gimmick or you have to be a knockout artist in that ring for the excitement.
I like you, but you're crazy.
And once those guys figure that out, maybe they'll be as big as Gervonta Davis or perhaps not.
Another lesson of the day is you can't let your overreaction to things affect your reaction to things.
I mean, we gotta know where this money going to.
If things bother you in the moment and the things that people say bother you in the moment, and you know that sometimes you can overreact, don't react.
So you got motherfuckers out here who can walk, talk, see, hear, and all that shit and still fucking up.
Just wait a second. If someone says something to you while they're overreacting, it's almost like they're drunk.
I mean, we gotta know where this money going to.
You don't listen to them, and you don't take every word that they say while they're upset. You have to think about that person may have said it while they're emotional. They may not have meant it that way.
Had the same amount of time in a day as Michael Jackson, but chose to be nobody.
And I'm saying that to say I have to sometimes make sure I'm not overreacting. You know, that's what a boss has to do. These are like boss thoughts. Like, am I overreacting?
Y'all let me know what y'all think about all that down in the comment section below. That like button for me. Share. Subscribe. Holler at me on all social media platforms. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. But you're more than likely to get a response on the tube. So holler at me over there. Want to collabo, feature a product, your channel, on my channel, feel free to hit my Gmail because it is aflockofcards@gmail.com. And we are out of here.
Don't try this at home.
I don't know shit about boxing.
We guap shopping, y'all pock mocking. See your boy Keys up in J Mall shopping. My CD dropping, got the whole hood bopping. The whole hood bopping, got the hoes pop locking. Dropping, Martin Luther Keys ain't stopping. 12's in the back, got the son bitch whopping. You say you wasn't cuffing, but I see you still blocking. Your bitch come around, I'm knocking. If she says she wanna feel, nigga, from the grill to the text, I can put the feel on the map. You're looking at a heel, nigga. And I still got the strap, but I'd rather chill with the yak. You're looking at a heel, nigga. And the lack looking pretty mean. You smell the gangrene hydro. I mean, heel, nigga. Stuffed in the real low. You can take me out the field, I'ma keep it feel. Ho, you my nigga sticks, riding through the bricks. Old school whip, but the rims 26. He up in the Charger, who you know go harder. Sure they got a small waist, but the ass larger. Orders in order, from border to border. Bro, you can't afford if it's more than a quarter. It's your boy Key, I'm getting that cheese. If you open up my CD, you about to hear a feel, nigga. From the grill to the text, I can put the bill on the map. You're looking at a heel, nigga. And I still got the strap, but I'd rather chill with the yak. You're looking at a heel, nigga. And the lack looking pretty mean. You smell the gangrene hydro. I mean, heel, nigga. Stuffed in the real low. You can take me out the field, I'ma keep it real. O-S to the P, O to the T, L-E-S-S, yes, that's me. See me in the west, see me in the east. C-3-P-O on my teeth, good grief, I'm a beast. Yeah, I gotta grind, yeah, I gotta shine, but it ain't just rhyme. 502, it's about damn time. Brand new money, represent the KY, they about to see a heel, nigga. From the grill to the text, I can put the bill on the map. You're looking at a heel, nigga. And I still got the strap, but I'd rather chill with the yak. You're looking at a heel, nigga. And the lack looking pretty mean. You smell the gangrene hydro. I mean, heel, nigga. Stuffed in the real low. You can take me out the field, I'ma keep it feel. Feel, nigga.